something similar could also be said about the Crimean Peninsula as well, a strategically crucial piece of land that Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. Kiev is preparing for a spring offensive with its M1 Abram tanks to Kiev. The ally must make its own decisions on giving tanks to Ukraine.
Whether the pressure on Germany is mounting or not is not something that I'm involved in. That is a political discussion between Germany and the nations.
But notwithstanding the differences, the West is already committed to pouring more weapons into the Ukrainian battlefield. The United States, in its most recent announcement, has said that it is sending more weapons worth $2.5 billion. This will include 90 Stryker armored personnel carriers, 59 Bradley fighting vehicles with some pretty powerful cannons, besides other French and German infantry fighting vehicles. Finland, which has applied to join the NATO military alliance, has pledged military aid to the tune of about $430 million. So with this being the scale of weapons that are being pumped into the Ukrainian war by the West, the question is, why are the United States and Germany reluctant to send their tanks into the battlefield? On the other hand, Russia is gearing up for a spring offensive of its own. The onset of spring won't just begin to melt the ice. Predictions that were made by the military analysts that Russia would run out of its arsenal have fallen flat. Russia this week also showed off its first batch of Poseidon torpedoes that would be deployed on its Belgorod submarine. The Poseidon has been described as a doomsday weapon, unlike any that has been witnessed before. It's a cross between a drone and a nuclear-powered torpedo, capable of triggering radioactive tsunamis that can devastate entire cities along the coastline and make them uninhabitable for decades to come. In January, the Israeli troops shot dead 2 Palestinians in occupied West Bank. Tel Aviv claims that its soldiers were shot at, so they fired back in retaliation.
Allahu Akbar!
A Palestinian school teacher and a militant were shot dead by the Israeli troops early Thursday morning.
This far-right government, frankly, should be alarming the world. I've never seen a more openly hostile government in the 20 years I've been reporting from here. He is the National Security Minister. He has been convicted of racism towards Palestinians, towards the Arabs. He's openly racist. He's now in charge of the police force. That was the first big concession that he got from Benjamin Netanyahu. You're hearing 2 sets of voices, really. The first one is coming from, I would like to say, kind of liberal Israelis. They say, you know what, at least the mask is off now. At least we're an open right-wing society. At least we can deal with that. A lot of these far-right parties, their voice is very simple. They have always said that the land of Israel is theirs. No one's talking to me about a kind of a rollback of human rights within Israel on NGOs and humanitarian aid organizations.
Jabarin was associated with the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, an armed militia affiliated with Fatah. The Israeli army claims that Palestinian gunmen fired heavily at its forces during a counter-terrorism raid in Jenin and that they shot back.
The capital city of Lima has turned into a war zone. Tens of thousands of protesters from diverse regions of the country have descended onto the Peruvian capital, defying the state of emergency that was ostensibly declared to maintain law and order.
A new year brings a new round of threats from North Korea's combative, soon-to-be 39-year-old dictator. Kim Jong-un, citing an increased threat he perceives from the U.S. and South Korea, calls for a, quote, exponential increase of the country's nuclear arsenal and the mass production of tactical nuclear weapons. Kim also called for the development of a new intercontinental ballistic missile system for North Korea. Analysts say Kim has tested a couple of ICBMs that are believed to be capable of hitting the continental United States. But he still needs to perfect the ability of those missiles to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. In recent days, Kim Jong-un has also bragged about this ominous-looking new weapon, what North Korean state media calls the country's, quote, super-large multiple rocket launcher, which it says was test-fired over the weekend. A launcher that Kim's regime claims can be loaded with tactical nuclear warheads and put all of South Korea within range.
seconds, the time and barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. A uranium bullet fired down a barrel into a uranium target. Together, they started a nuclear chain reaction. Solid matter began to come apart, releasing